Hello there. This is November 4th, day before voting day. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting. Unfortunately, I can't vote here at the college, so I'm just going to go back home and do it there. I looked up the requirements of like any documents or anything that I need for proof of identification. I should already have all that stuff, so I think I'll be good on the. Oh wow, the lights just went on here. I know that my phone makes this look like much brighter than it is, but like the sun is literally setting right now. I mean, I guess you can kind of tell that from this angle. Oh well. Yeah, so also other fun stuff before I get back on to talking about voting, whatever, which is definitely something I've talked a lot about in some of my last couple of videos. So today's been nice. Weather's been pretty good. I was enjoying watching some videos by this dude who watches like a bunch of videos about like Canadian stuff, and then he'll just mention some of his like funny points with that, or what he thinks about it, or he'll look up stuff he doesn't understand and be like, oh okay, that's what this is. So it was just entertaining. Also enjoyed a little bit of candy. Had some Sour Patch Kids. Was the tropical version. There was someone passing out free candy after my PPD a little while ago, so that was nice. Right, I'm already pretty close to the dorm. I didn't start making this video until not even like 2 minutes ago, or no, 3 minutes ago. Excuse me. Other random stuff. Someone told me that, a few people told me that they really liked my hat. There was even this one girl that told me that she really liked my outfit. So, and like 1 or 2 people said that looks really good on me. So, I appreciate that. I really like it. Felt really nice. I mean, I don't know. Probably way too soon to say, but it'd be really funny if like I wore something like this or this specifically again in the near future, and I meet my I don't know. I mean, like my future partner or partners or friends or anything like that. But whatever. Let's see. What else? Oh, so got some pictures from a friend, Wayne, about his family. Since he and Bruce are visiting Canada this week, so that was cool. They look pretty nice people. I guess we'll sit down over here for a little bit. Again, I know I said a little bit, and it might very well be much longer. This happened sometimes before. Oh well. I mean, it is nice, I'm trying to just enjoy some outside time. So let me go ahead and pull out my I'm sorry, I had to pull out a phone charger. So just give me a few seconds. Alright, okay, so I got it right here. Yeah, and then also from my church friend there, I was also asking random questions about stuff like, what's the best Canadian maple syrup? And he said he'd have to look into that, so I thought that'd be nice. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, really nice thing. I got my second Minecraft video released. this morning. I thought it was gonna be last night actually, because I finished that speed run up. There's a season 1 episode 2, I believe. Yeah, so I got that released. Finished that up, whatnot. So that was great. I was like, yo. So I think it's really cool, and I think, while I know I had like a few days where I didn't really work on any video stuff really, maybe except for these like walking videos, and whatnot. And I felt like a little bit down from that, but it feels a little better to again have worked on something and release that. I think I was also kind of annoyed because when I was doing the speed run, it took significantly longer than the first one. It's actually still a pretty good video. Like, I had a lot of good moments with it, but yeah. So I also decided to put a disclaimer in there for the fact that I put it at 2 times speed, because otherwise, if it hadn't, it would have been significantly longer if it was the actual full length. And I edited it out at least 30 to 40 minutes in the 2 times speed. So I don't know, maybe that was like, I don't know, like anywhere from like an hour to it was at least, if it wasn't like the 1 time speed, I might have, it probably would have been like at least like an hour or something like that. But yeah, so I got that out. That was great. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to set the thumbnail because I accidentally deleted the picture that I was going to use for that. So, oops. But it's not too bad. I mean, it's literally, it's fine. It's only like the second micro video or whatever. Like, and I'm sure I'll have plenty more. And then what else? Yeah, so PPDs we talked about, job interviews, nothing really new there that I didn't really know. I mean, it's good reminders of stuff, research the place you'd be working at. Make sure to have some questions you're going to ask them. Be aware that you might, be interviewed by, a few people at the same time instead of just one. Write some kind of thank you note or card or something like that, or send an email after the interview. Just stuff like that. Why is that? Okay, never mind. Well, that car stopped beeping. That didn't last that long, so that's nice. It'll go on for certain periods of time, because that's definitely not annoying at all. And then also, yeah, speaking of the weather, it's been quite windy today. Not like extremely so, but I don't know. I've not really felt like panicky or whatever like I used to in high school, so I think that's really nice. I won't lie, I have like small moments where I can feel like a little bit of that again, but it's significantly less, like drastically less than it used to be, so that's a big plus. So it feels actually really nice. And then yeah, okay, so back to the voting thing. So yeah, so I'll be voting for Kamala. I don't really know particularly much about her, unfortunately. I really wish I did, and I should really do some research about her, learn her history, learn her policies that she wants to implement. Again, right, I don't love her. I don't necessarily think that she's like the absolute best or anything, and also, like, I won't lie, I kind of feel like, from what little I do know, that it doesn't really seem like the Democratic Party candidates actually do much of anything for this country. Like, they make things a little bit better, which is better than nothing at all, or going backwards, like a lot of Republicans or conservatives would. Stupid glasses. Or at least in my opinion, anyway. But at the same time, it's like they're not really doing right on everything, and especially just like continuing, for example, one really big thing is like continuing the war in Gaza, right? If I'm understanding this correctly. I feel like I might not be, so forgive you if I'm mistaken. But, continuing to support and aid Israelis, I don't think that's the right thing to do. I think, while I can understand the sentiment of perhaps a lot of Israelis who are like, well, oh, hey, this is like, this is where our, historic homeland was, or whatever. And that's all, great, good. But the Palestinians have been living there for like a long time. And you can't just like kick them out. Like, yeah. Like, that's not okay. And you can't, and it's not, and I realize it's not just, where they're just kicking them out. But that's not what's happening. They're killing them, by the thousands. Like, that's not okay. That I don't think that we should do that. I think this has to stop. Right? We need to support the Palestinians. And also, in my opinion, we also need to help Ukraine further. Right? They're still fighting. They're still fighting Russia. They're still dealing with that. They've lost some territory, if I believe. And we need to do something about that. Right? We need to reinforce our NATO allies. Right? We need to make sure that, Russia doesn't take more land. We need to stop them. And I recognize that it's going to be a complicated thing. Again, I don't know exactly how we go about doing that, but we need to make sure that, Palestine and Ukraine, that they have the support that they need, right? And we need to stop supporting Russia and stop supporting the Israelis, because those are not the right causes, at least not in my mind. But anyway.
Period. I'll make it back.
Oh, are you serious?
So yeah, I'll be voting for Harris. Again, I don't love her. I don't think she's absolutely great or anything. I do not defend her necessarily every single way. But it pretty much goes down to a few things, right? One, a little bit of change for the better, even if it's just that much, as much as it's kind of just, I don't know, a little depressing, maybe not depressing, but just really sad. It's really frustrating that there isn't more that they're going to do, the Democrats or Harris is going to do for the right things. It's better her than Trump. I do not trust that man. I wouldn't want, if I had any children, I would not want either one. I would not want my, my daughter or one of my daughters to marry a man like him. I wouldn't trust him with my life. So I'm definitely not voting for him. I need to do a little research tonight to learn about the local candidates, the senators, the state ones, and our state representatives, because I want to make sure that I vote for the people that I genuinely believe would be good for this country, that I believe are good people, regardless if they are Democratic or Republican, right? Now, I will say I do feel like I'm probably going to vote, Democrat on probably all of them, if I'm being honest. But, maybe I won't. But at least I'm talking presidency here. I know for sure I'm not voting Republican. I'm not voting Trump. I do not trust that man. I do not want him in office. And if he gets in office again, right, if he wins this pretty much really close, race, or at least based on what the current polls have been, which is about a 50-50, right? Or pretty much as close as it's been for a while, or at least a really close race. If he wins, I'm seriously gonna ask my parents if we can leave. I'm seriously gonna ask my parents, hey, can we leave? Can we go to Canada as soon as possible? Like, not necessarily right now, but in the next few months, right? Could we do that? Can we move to Canada? Because I know that I'm planning on moving there, and as much as I'd like to go there, I want to wait until my college years are over. I want to get my full experience here. I want to get my degree. I want to have a little bit of more job experience. I want to make some new friends, Who knows, maybe I might even find a romantic partner or something like that here. Whatever the case might be, though, I'm still moving, but I want to get the full experience here. But if he gets office, you know, and I don't know, maybe I'll be fine. Maybe, you know what, business will go on as usual, regardless of who wins. But if he wins, at the least I'm gonna do is call or text my parents and say, you know what, can we please go move to Canada or Europe or New Zealand or Australia, right? Like, if we can't do one of those places, then, you know, one of the other ones. But nonetheless, I said I wanted to keep this video shorter, so that's what I'm gonna do. Just want to say one last sort of thing here, though, is the daylight. Well, I forget what it's called, but the daylight change. I forget if it's savings or the whatever it's called. Well, so we moved back the hour, and it's kind of just weird, you know, seeing the you know, the sky be so different. Like, it was much brighter this morning, and then it's like much darker this afternoon, which I think I personally like that, you know, more than the other way around. I think this is preferable, but then again, I don't know, maybe this is just I don't know how this would compare if this was just like a normal thing all the time. Anyways, whatever. Enough about that. I need to get in. I need to do the one chemistry assignment that's due on Wednesday, and do the research about the candidates for the local, state, and national levels. You know, research them, their policies, their history, that kind of stuff. Kind of make my mind what I'm going to do. And yeah, and then after that, I think, you know, I guess depending on how much time I have, I'll probably take a quick look at homework for next week. I don't know how much of it I'm going to do, but maybe at least a little bit, 1 or 2 assignments, something like that. And then probably, you know, make some more videos, play some more Minecraft, something like that. I might watch some TV, but anyways, enough about that. See you soon.